All right, parents, this is not groundbreaking. College is not getting any cheaper. But the good news is that tuition payment doesn't have to come out of your pocket. And you don't have to co-sign loans in order to send your student to college. There are resources available to you, but what I'm here to tell you is why you need to focus on them right now. So one of those resources, and one of, in my opinion, the most important resources, is scholarships. And I'm going to share with you why you need to be focusing on them right now and not waiting. Now make sure you hit subscribe, because every week we release a new strategy even beyond scholarships to help your family work towards a debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where yes, we do focus on scholarships. That is our bread and butter, but we also have dozens and dozens of strategies that complement scholarships so that your family can truly build a strong financial future rather than one that has decades of debt in it. So let's get into why parents need to focus on these now. So just quickly to explain what scholarships are, a lot of people think of scholarships as the chunk of money that a university will offer a student. These are merit scholarships, and they are fantastic. They are one of the first kinds of money that we can really use to knock off tens of thousands of dollars off the cost of college. However, there are other types of scholarships as well, including private scholarships, where they come from all different kinds of sources. And then there's cash awards. So cash awards are just like scholarships, except they're like they sound, cash. So a student actually receives a cash check that semester that they win, whereas scholarships are often sent to the university for the following school year. No matter what, scholarships, cash awards, merit, private, it's funding that does not have to be paid back. This is why it is so important for families to focus on, so that they can try to help their student avoid decades of debt or avoid cutting into their own pockets. Now, like I mentioned, there are merit scholarships from universities, and again, those are typically based on excelling in academics, athletics, community service, leadership, arts. So those are the ones that a lot of families think of. Then there's private scholarships. These can be for anything and everything in between. And then there's also financial aid based, so need-based aid. And I feel like between merit and need-based, that's where a lot of families think that those are their two options. So if their student is not the next Einstein, or if they're not low income, then they don't have a chance. But don't forget about that middle one that I mentioned, private scholarships. They don't have necessarily GPA requirements, income requirements. They don't require certain majors. They could be for anything. So likely your student has some kind of scholarship out there in private scholarships, if not in merit and need-based. Okay, now I have a free training to show you how to find the scholarships that are legitimate and have less competition. I will link to that in the description, or you can go to scholarshipsystem.com/free training, or you can click the video here. But check out that free training after this video so that you can learn how to build the list. But let's talk about why we need to prioritize these now. So a lot of times parents, they're trying to get through the admissions process. They're trying to get their student to where they get the financial aid package. We're focusing on maybe college tours, choosing a college applications, FAFSA. There is a lot going on. Believe me, I know. However, if we wait until we already know the school, until we already have our financial aid package, we have missed out on millions of dollars in deadlines. We have to do these now. We have to start right away. So regardless of when you're listening to this, basically, if your student is a junior in high school or older, even if they're already in college, they can be doing scholarships right now. I would say the only month that really is quiet is August. And that's because August is kind of like a weird month between the end of the previous scholarship season and the start of the next one. But by September in the fall, students can already start applying for the following school year, and they can continue applying all the way through summer months. In fact, through the scholarship system, we've been giving out scholarships for nearly a decade now, every single year, and our deadline is not until July for money for that fall. All right, so we need to focus on them, not just because we are missing out on money literally by waiting, but because this is free money. So like I mentioned earlier, this is money that doesn't have to be paid back. It can drastically reduce what your student has to borrow or what you have to pay. We're talking about avoiding decades of student loan payments so that maybe instead they can buy a house or travel or start a business. Just imagine what they can do if they started on the ground rather than in a hole when they graduate from college. They say the average student loan amount is around $30,000, but I am seeing numbers way greater than that, $80,000, $100,000 for an undergraduate degree, and that is not what we want for our student. Another reason we want to focus on these right now is because scholarships actually look great on a resume. So if your student does win one of those coveted merit-based scholarships, and by the way, I have trainings all about how your student doesn't have to be top GPA in order to even get merit money, but that's for another day. By that said, if your student does win a merit scholarship and puts it on their resume, this actually can be validating to other organizations. Some scholarships have banquets and networking opportunities that come along with receiving it. They might have internship connections, mentoring. So don't think about it just as money, but there can be other perks as well. One quick story, one of my scholarships that I received was actually funded by the SEC coaches. So I got to go to a banquet and meet some of the SEC coaches. Now, I went to the University of South Carolina. Unfortunately, at that time, Spurrier was our coach. He was not there, but I did get to meet Nick Saban because of a scholarship that I received. One of our students got a free trip to Hawaii because of a scholarship he received. Okay, another benefit of focusing on these right now with your student is that your student can gain recognition for receiving the scholarships. So they might be featured in a newspaper. They probably will have information in the commencement package about winning scholarships. They will be spotlighted for winning that money. Now, I know that that's not necessarily important, or maybe your student doesn't even want that, but it could turn into more opportunities, internship opportunities, shadowing opportunities, interviews. Now, again, I have that free training, that free webinar, which you can find the link in the description, on how to find scholarships. But another thing about all of these scholarships that we're talking about is our essays. And so if you want essay help for your student, then we will link to scholarship essays, the do's and don'ts. I will link to that in the description as well as here on the screen. But that's another one that will help you and your student work towards securing these scholarships. So let me know in the comments, have you started scholarships, or when do you plan to start scholarships? Is it junior year, senior year in high school? Is it in August? Is it in April? When do you plan on applying for scholarships? I would love to see, and I can respond back with what I think about your timeline, but this would be helpful, hopefully for you to see when you need to be focusing on these with your student. So that said, there is no time like now to apply for scholarships. There are deadlines pretty much every month of the year. And if your student is a junior, they can already start winning money for college. And if they're in college, they can continue winning money. So this is something that we can be doing for 6+ years and winning, like in my case, 6 figures in scholarships. As you can see, I am pretty passionate about scholarships because this is how I was able to afford to go to college and in the end actually get paid to go to college. And this is what I want for your family as well. So that said, make sure that you are talking to your student about scholarships. Attend that free webinar I mentioned along with them so that you can start building that list of legitimate scholarships with less competition. And then we have tons of strategies, which is what the scholarship system is all about. But then you can start working on scholarship Sundays or scholarship Saturdays, start working on essays together. There is a lot to do, yes, but when broken down into bite-sized steps, which is what we do, it is way more attainable. All right, so that said, don't wait. Focus on the scholarships now. Get your student in high gear. I know there's a lot on your plate, but there is nothing more valuable than avoiding decades of student loan debt. Make sure you hit subscribe because I have tons of strategies coming your way, and make sure you check out that free webinar. It's linked in the description. I will see you in the next video.